Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Mahabharata65. As you may remember, the Pandavas and their mother had escaped through the tunnel all the way to the Ganga. The boatman came near. He first convinced them that he was a friend. Then he said, "Vidura has paid me enormous money, and he has asked me to wait here every night with my boat. Someday," said Vidura, "someday, the Pandavas will be there with their mother, and you will have to ferry them across the Ganga and leave them on safe ground. The day has come. I have the good fortune of guiding the Pandavas. I am indeed fortunate, since God has made me fit to do such a good turn to the best of people." They crossed the river and entered the terrible forest. The night was dark and dreadful. The princes had to hurry as much as they could. Distance was a dire necessity now. They had to go as far away from Varanavata as they possibly could. They hurried along with quick steps. Chapter 27. News reaches Hastinapura. In Varanavata, the dreadful night was over. The house had been burned down completely. The fire had abated, and the people could now cross the moat and see what had happened. It was terrible to see the charred remains of 7 bodies. They knew for certain that the Pandavas with their mother had been burnt to death. The 7th was Parochana. The people were happy to see that at least Parochana was punished for his sinfulness. They were unhappy at the fate which had overtaken the Pandavas. Their wrath was great. They said, "It is obvious that this has been done at the instigation of the old king and his son." The miner who had built the tunnel for the Pandavas went in without being noticed and looked for the opening of the tunnel. He found that it was completely hidden by debris. He admired the wisdom of the Pandavas and returned to Hastinapura to report to Vidura about the escape of the Pandavas. The other agents of Vidura also went to him and told him about the safety of the Pandavas. Vidura knew now that they had crossed the river Ganga and were proceeding southward as he had advised them to do. News travels fast. The people of Hastinapura were sunk in despair when they heard about the death, nay, murder, of the Pandavas. Hearing the news, the wily King Dhritarashtra pretended to be grief-stricken. His heart was full of a great happiness, but he had to pretend. He looked as though he were overcome by calamity that had befallen him. Like the cloud that roars in autumn, making much noise without giving any rain, he gave vent to his grief. He sent messengers to Varanavata to perform the funeral rites for dead people. He ordered the treasurer to distribute wealth and clothing to the poor in accordance with custom. All of them went to the banks of the river Ganga to offer funeral oblations. Vidura was there with them. He knew his brother and his exultation at the event. He knew him to be the home of insincerity and scheming. Vidura too mourned along with the others. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.